Hello and welcome to Zekism Wrestling. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Evolution 2025 card, how it's shaping up, overall thoughts and excitement levels. I, for one, am looking forward to it. I think it's going to really deliver. It's certainly going to be probably the better of the two events WWE has that weekend. No disrespect, the Saturday night's main event I'm not particularly that interested in. I don't particularly think they've delivered much of anything in those. See, network specials is what they are, and that's all they are. And Goldberg Gunther is a match that everyone's looking forward to, of course. The internet has spoken. Anyway, back to Evolution. The card is shaping up really well. Monday Night Raw was last night. The headline match for the card so far, and probably going to main event, I would thought, is Io Sky, Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. I think, this is a sort of a dream match, but they have faced each other twice this year already. But yeah, these are the two most popular, maybe arguably most popular women's wrestlers or wrestlers in general on Monday Night Raw. It's a no-brainer, really, because they're going to deliver. They're going to deliver a quality match. I think it's going to be arguably the main event. And yeah, no-brainer from a booking point of view. No arguments. Looking forward to the match. I think it will deliver. We also had confirmation through potentially unnecessary but convoluted means. Roxanne is now officially a Judgment Day member. Of course, for whatever reason she wasn't before. But I appreciate the sticking to logic, where the logical, there's no assumption that she's a member. She was integrated democratically into the Judgment Day last night. So great. Now she's an official tag team champion with Raquel. Unfortunately, Liv's injury has accelerated that. But regardless, I think they're carrying on that storyline in a good, meaningful way. And they announced that the two will defend the tag team titles at Evolution in a fatal four-way against a team from Raw, a team from SmackDown, and a team from NXT. The elephant in the room with that is what tag teams are there. They sort of gutted the women's tag team division earlier in the year, so that's an interesting one. I'm gonna go on a limb. I mean, from what Secret Hervis for SmackDown, Maxine and Natalia for Raw, and NXT Zarya and Sol Ruka. I don't know. It's hard to put a number. I mean, it could be Fatal Influence maybe as well, but anyway, it's a thought. NXT's probably got more women's tag teams than they've got more probably justification in NXT to have women's tag team belts than the main roster at the moment. But anyway, that's me being a little bitchy. So that should be an entertaining match. I'm Raquel and Roxanne. I mean, Raquel Rodriguez, I think, is a star in the making. I think she's hopefully in Liv's absence. She's going to be given the opportunity to step up. And deliver what we saw in NXT. Those of us who are black and gold NXT stans will be able to advocate for her being able to deliver on. So, yeah, I think Liv's injury, though unfortunate, will allow Raquel to sort of blossom in her absence and sort of be a dominant force in the women's division on Raw. And I don't want to say get to Rhea Ripley's level, but certainly in terms of exposure and being able to sort of handle her business on her own. I mean, she's a formidable force. She's really good. And when you've seen her be a babyface, as we have as black and gold NXT fans, she can really deliver as well. So I think she can really step out of Liv's shadow a little bit. Not that she was blocking her, but you know what I mean? She was just the enforcer for Liv. Now she's going to be able to blossom, I think, on her own and show main roster audiences just what she can do. And starting with sort of her being the leader of the team with Roxanne Perez. And I think that match is probably going to deliver. Like I said, I've picked tag teams out of the air. I think that's probably what they'll do anyway on the day. Between now and then, they'll just pick tag teams. But I think Raquel and Roxanne should retain that. I don't see why they should lose the belts there, because there's more story to tell with Judgment Day having most of the gold on Raw. Anyway, moving on. They announced the Battle Royal as well. The winner going on to face a women's champion who they've a women's champion at Clash in Paris. The only two I'm aware of being in the match so far was Stephanie Vaquer, who announced her participation in advert interview with Jackie Redmond, and Asuka on Twitter, I think. confirmed that she's going to be in the Battle Royal as well, and looking forward to going to Paris. I can see it coming down to those two anyway. Asuka and Stephanie Vaquer in the final two. Winner going on to face the women's world champion at Clash in Paris, be it Io Sky or Rhea Ripley. Asuka Rhea would be a good match. That would be a really good match. In fact, now I've said it, that's the match I want. Nothing against Stephanie or Rhea. It's just that's the match I want. And Asuka Io for a belt. Yeah, give me that. Hook it up to my veins. So yeah, I've talked myself into it now, but so yeah, I think it's probably going to come down to Asuka, Stephanie, and probably Nia in the final three. But the other two will get rid of Nia and then square off against each other. I think it's a bit premature for Stephanie to be getting world title matches. Nothing against it. I just think you want to see a bit more on the main roster to sort of earn it. But you never, whatever. That's just a minor comment from myself. Next, they haven't announced it, but we saw a qualifying match last night, or so number one contenders match between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria end in a draw. I can only assume that's going to end up with a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the belt Evolution. I don't see why you prolong it to SummerSlam at this point. Yeah, that's going to really deliver. That's going to be a quality match for the Intercontinental title, which I can see the complaints online about Becky having the belt. I think this feud between Becky and Lyra has elevated the Intercontinental title a hell of a lot. And I think having story, this is, you don't need me to tell you, having storylines behind the title matches that also deliver in the quality of wrestling is what you want. And I think that story has elevated Lyra. I think it's got Becky involved in a title that's not a world title. It's allowed that to flourish, although I would have loved the era to be more on TV wrestling with it. Nevertheless, I think the Intercontinental title has been elevated as a result of this feud. And I think having Bayley's involvement, who again is a good wrestler, I think it's... And the story that's going on between Lyra and Bayley is an organic sort of mini feud in between the Becky feud between the three. So I think they've done a good job with the Intercontinental title booking since Mania. I hated the Bayley removal at Mania. I thought it didn't make any sense. Unless there was an injury to unless there was an injury to Bayley, which I'm not aware there was, then it seemed silly to book her and then take her out of it the day before. But I mean, now we're here. Fine. It's a shame for Bayley to miss out on WrestleMania just for a storyline, but I think the ends not justifies the means, but at least we're here with a good feud going into a pay-per-view for the belt, and the belt has benefited as much as the competitors has, apart from Bayley. Bayley's sort of the sacrificial lamb in this, but hopefully I think she will get her hands on the Intercontinental title in the next month or two, and I think the three of them are gonna... It'd be really cool for the three of them to sort of hotshot it between the three of them, because I think the title's benefiting. I'm really enjoying the feud, definitely. Also announced last week on NXT, Jacy Jayne, Jordynne Grace for the belt, the NXT Women's Championship. This is Jordan's crowning moment. I think Jordan's winning this. No offense to Jacy Jayne, but she's felt like a transitional champion as soon as she picked it up. I wasn't sure why they booked her to win it off Stephanie, other than Stephanie was on main roster now. They like Jacy probably, and they wanted to give her a NXT title to her name because she's been in the developmental for so long and they like her. I don't know, but she carries the belt well. So I think Jordynne wins it at Evolution. That's my pick. And I'm assuming this week we're going to have Tiffany Stratton's match for Evolution announced. She's not injured, so I assume that's a no-brainer. You put the women's title on it. They did in 2018. They had all the belts on the line. So I think similar this year. Tiffany probably. If Bianca Belair is fit, I think you book Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton. Unless you want to push Jade Cargill, the new Queen of the Rings title match, instead of at SummerSlam, you push it to Evolution maybe, and then you can just invent storyline reasons to why Jade wants that. That's entirely possible as well. Either way, I think we are due a Naomi cash-in either at Evolution or at SummerSlam. That's happening. That's happening. And it will involve Bianca Belair and it will involve Jade Cargill. And I think you then have, in my opinion, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi feuding for the belt, and you push that triple threat match for the women's match at WrestleMania next year for the WWE Women's Championship. That's what I'd book. I think there's been the sort of semi-dream match people have sort of fantasy booked ever since the three of them teamed up as a trio at the last year's WrestleMania 40. Makes all the sense in the world, and so I can see that's the trajectory going forward, and I can see them sort of, you know, doing silly things to delay the match until then, but maybe one-on-one matches going into it. You can have other people involved on SmackDown, but that's your SmackDown women's title match for Mania next year, in my opinion. And I think it starts with a women's title match against Tiffany. If Bianca's fit and active, able to wrestle, which you've got to believe she is. It was a thumb injury, I believe. So you've got to think it's probably better now. But who knows? If she's good to go, I think she has a match against Tiffany for the title at Evolution. Maybe picks up the title there, or maybe has it as shenanigans cost her it, because Naomi's been feuding with her on Twitter a little bit. So I think they're setting up something to do with Naomi and Bianca getting physical with each other, because they've mostly been just verbal sparring. And that's your Evolution card. I think it's shaping up to be a good one. I think I really, like I said, we'll circle back to 2018's Evolution. It was probably the best pay-per-view of that year, in my opinion. And I think this one has the potential to do similar. Obviously, Triple H booked the one in 2018 as well, amidst, Vince McMahon's main roster booking, which, we're talking 2018 here. This was the year of Jinder Mahal as WWE champion. Not a good year. So I think it's going to deliver. I'm excited. My daughter's excited. Are you excited? Let me know in the comment section below. Please leave me a like or subscribe. That always helps this channel to grow. And I very much appreciate anyone who does subscribe to the channel. It's honestly very, very grateful. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.